All right, let's dive in. Today, we're kind of going on a treasure hunt. We're on the lookout for some really profound wisdom, some of those timeless life lessons. But here's the twist. We're not digging through ancient scrolls or anything like that. Nope, we're looking somewhere, well, somewhere you'd never expect.
I mean, think about it. When you're grappling with the big stuff, like how to be happy, how to build a decent society, or even just what our place in the universe is, where do you even start looking for answers?
You heard that right. The source for our whole journey today is a collection of reading passages for high schoolers in India, basically an exam prep book. But it turns out, tucked away between all the grammar questions and vocabulary drills, there's this incredible, sort of hidden curriculum for life. So let's see what it has to teach us. First up, we're going to start at the very core of it all, the individual. You, me. The passages in this textbook have some really fascinating things to say about personal struggle, about persistence, and, the virtues we build when life gets hard. So, get this story about a woman named Helen. Her trip to the train station is just a total mess. A late bus, a taxi she can barely afford, and then the taxi crashes. But look at what she does. She doesn't just throw her hands up and quit, she adapts. She gets out and she runs. This little story shows that persistence isn't about everything going perfectly, it's about what you do when it all falls apart. And that idea connects beautifully to something the philosopher Aristotle said ages ago. He argued that you don't find happiness by making it your goal. Instead, happiness just kind of shows up when you're completely absorbed in doing something. It's not the prize. It's the bloom on the cheek, that glow you get from being fully alive and engaged. Helen wasn't trying to be happy. She was trying to catch a train. And in that action, she found her own kind of victory. The Roman philosopher Seneca pushes this idea even further. He says that good times and bad times, they teach us totally different things, and both are super important. Prosperity, when things are going great, teaches us temperance, how to handle success without losing your head. But adversity, hardship, that teaches us fortitude, real strength, real endurance. Sure, we all wish for prosperity, but Seneca argues that it's the strength built in adversity that's truly admirable. Our character is really forged in the fire. And this brings us to one of the biggest tests of the self, right? What do you do when someone wrongs you? The philosopher Francis Bacon makes it really clear. If you take revenge, you're just dropping down to your enemy's level. You're even. But if you choose to forgive, to pass it over, well, that's what makes you superior. It's an act of incredible strength that says a lot more about you than it does about them. Okay, so we've explored the self. The next logical step is to zoom out a little. How do we take all these individual virtues and build something bigger than ourselves? A society that actually works. The textbook brings this huge question right down to earth with these super simple examples. A running tap, garbage on the sidewalk, shoving to get on a bus instead of just lining up. We've all seen this stuff. None of these are like major crimes, but they all point to a breakdown in what you could call civic sense, a basic failure to think about other people. A good society really does start with these small, everyday choices. So that leads us to the million-dollar question. If these little thoughtless acts can weaken a community, what are the things that actually build it up? What holds it all together? One passage actually lists out some of the fundamental duties of a citizen from the Indian Constitution. And just look at the range here. It goes from patriotism, respecting the flag, all the way to environmentalism, protecting wildlife. It talks about promoting social harmony and about your own personal growth, developing a scientific outlook. The big takeaway here is that being a citizen isn't a passive thing. It's an active, wide-ranging responsibility. And this quote just nails how a good society works. It's not about force or just getting your way. According to the Indian philosopher Dr. Radhakrishnan, the engine of democracy runs on conversation. It's all about discussion, persuasion, compromise, that art of give and take. It's the simple recognition that we're all in this together, so we have to find a way to move forward together. All right, so we've gone from the self to society, and now our textbook zooms out to the biggest scale you can imagine. It's asking us to think about our place not just on our block or in our country, but in the entire universe and across deep, deep time. Just try to imagine what a mind-bending shift this was. Before Copernicus, humanity literally thought we were the center of everything. The whole universe was just this little snow globe built for us. And then, bam! Science comes along and tells us, actually, you're on a rock that's spinning around one star, and that star is one of millions in a galaxy that's one of millions.
It didn't just change our maps, it completely changed our sense of self. It was a huge dose of humility. And if you thought that cosmic shift was humbling, the geological clock is on another level. The book takes us back 650 million years ago to this giant continent Gondwana. It existed and thrived for 500 million years. The world we recognize today is basically brand new. And us, humanity, we don't even show up until the last possible second. Seriously, let that number sink in. 12,000 years. That's it. Every single thing we think of as human history, every empire, every war, every book, every song, it all happened in that tiny little sliver of time. On the planet's calendar, all of our civilization is just a few seconds before midnight. It's a wild perspective shift.
But here's the cool part. That deep past isn't totally gone. One of the passages points us to Antarctica. Its ice sheets are like a time capsule. They've trapped tiny bubbles of air from 500,000 years ago, giving us a perfect record of our planet's climate. It's literally a library of Earth's history frozen in time. And if we want to understand our present and figure out our future, we have to go there and learn how to read it.
And that brings us to our final section. We've gone from the self to society to the entire cosmos. And now this textbook brings us all the way back home to one last essential lesson: the art of understanding itself.
I absolutely love this quote. It's asking us, people who can read without even thinking about it, to do something almost impossible. Look at a page of words and just see a bunch of weird shapes. For a little kid who's just learning, the word cat on one page doesn't automatically look like the same word on the next. Realizing that is a huge breakthrough. And here it is, the final leap. The passage uses that struggle of learning to read as a perfect metaphor for empathy. See, the ultimate skill isn't just reading text, it's learning to read another person's experience. It's about having the imagination and the patience to genuinely try and see the world through their eyes, to understand that what's easy for you might be incredibly hard for them. That is the real hidden curriculum. So as we wrap this up, it seems a final lesson from this high school textbook is just to keep your eyes open. The most profound truths about who we are, how we live together, and what it all means, they're usually not locked away in some secret vault. They're hiding in plain sight, in the most ordinary places, just waiting for us to really learn how to see them. Thanks for joining me on this one.